Alright, gentlemen, getting ready with this Fokker DR1. This Fokker, I made a mistake. This is not, well, it can be, but this is not the Red Barons, Baron von Richthofen's. This one, I believe, it says here that it was Werner Voss's. Let me, yeah. It was first flown by von Richthofen and later by Werner Voss, who added 21 further victories in a short period before his FR1, before he was killed on September 23rd, 1917. There are differences between the F1 and the production D. The F1 had no wingtip skids and the curved leading edges of the horizontal tailplanes. The airframe design of the DR1 was typical Fokker's way at the time. The fuselage was made of welded tubular steel frame works covered by fabric. So, this one is, does it have a figure? Here, let me lower that a little bit. Bring it over here. I don't see a figure. And that might present a small problem because we need a figure. Oh, great. This one does not have a figure. That's not good, Jim. That's not good. Nope. This one does not have a figure. Alright, give me a second. Let me see if I can find one somewhere. Alright, apparently this does not have a figure. And I would think that we need a figure. So, I am going to have to find out if we need a figure before I do anything. Because I mean, there is no figure. They gave you a nice decal sheet, but no figure. Go figure. Okay. Alright, here we go. There's that one. Oh, there's some little bitty fiddly bits in here. Alright guys, let me cut all these out. I'll be right back. Alright, already I'm encountering problems. Right there. Those are the foot pedals on the photo etch, but it's only got one pedal. There's one missing. Yeah. Might be inside there in this bag. I don't know. I'll take a look. But I don't see it. So on the photo etch, if you can see here, this piece right here has to go in. That's the foot peg. There's only one there. It's missing one over here. So, and then they don't give you one supplied in the kit as far as plastic is concerned. So it's going to have to be this one. So, let me cut that out and I'll be right back. Alright, here's a quick update. I don't know how you photo etch guys do it, but I'm sitting there trying to put a piece of photo etch in. Here, I'll show you. That little guy. right in here, there's a little piece of photo etch, you know, it's the handle. I glue it in, I sit this down, I turn around, it ain't there anymore. I'll never find it here. That thing was so tiny. I spent the last half hour on my knees here looking for it. So, gotta keep moving on. Be back, gentlemen. You don't want to know what I just been through. I lost a really nice piece of photo etch. Glued it in right alongside here. You know, looks like the break. And I sit it down. I see it there. It's there, plain as day. I go to close up the Gorilla Glue. I turn around, it's gone. And man, I have searched for the last 45 minutes to an hour. I got on my hands and knees with a flashlight. I can't find it. I mean, it was an incredible, I mean, come on. Tiny, tiny piece. So, my first experience with photo etch, and I'm ready to throw it in the garbage. Yeah, it's aggravating. But I got the first part of this done. These pieces are incredibly fragile. You know, I've built 172s before, you know, and it's a beautiful kit. But Jesus, these parts are just like, I mean, super tiny. But this is the first part of it. So now I'm going to get into the seat. I'm not going to paint this yet. I'm going to shoot it, and then with a brush, go in there real careful. Yeah, I should have painted that floor first, but because that's wood. Stupid me. Oh well. I'll have to work around it. Be back in a little bit. Alright, what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get these little guys out. That's these guys right here for the seat. And there's also some photo etched seat belts. I still got to figure out. I'm going to go to my hobby shop over here and see if they got this weekend to see if they have a 148 figure that'll fit this. And then I can maybe use some epoxy sculpt. You know, if I cut off. I was also thinking, that reminds me, if I take off a figure out of one of these junk 148 scales that I have, see if they got a figure in there, and then I'll just have to you know, shave them down or whatever, and see if I can do that if it doesn't have too much detail on it. These things are, I mean, look, I've never built a dragon hobby before, a dragon kit before, and I have to say that this is probably one of the best kits I've ever made of this kind of plane. I mean, they make some very nice kits. Problem with them though is, what I just noticed was, you know, they give you some nice photo etch, but you're in a lot of trouble, man, if that photo etch is messed up, because they don't give you a plastic piece in case, you know, you lose a piece. And that's what just happened to me. And it's a pretty important piece. I mean, you're probably not going to see it, but anyway. So what I'm doing right now is I'm getting these seats. I'm going to work the cockpit today, and there's a, I don't know if you can, I'll try to show it to you guys. Let me move this out of the way so I don't lose those. There's an an EPM in there, ejected pin
then
mark in there. Lightly go in there and see if I can get it out of there. If not, I'll just make a pad out of some sheet styrene. But I think I'm getting it, guys. I mean, it's deep, but I'll get it good enough for government work. And I'm not going to win a prize, but let's see if I can get it out of there. I'll have a picture of it up later. This thing works wonders, man, if you don't want to use putty. If you just lightly go in there and scrape at it, you don't take too much off, you're okay. And I got it. Alright, I'll put this seat together. I'll show you guys. I like these kits, man. This is nice. I think rather than trying to buy a bunch of cheap kits and throwing them together, well, we'll see. I think I'm going to definitely have to look into more of these Hasegawa, as Panzerman says, Hasatamiya's kits, because this is a nice kit. It's got some really nice detail to it. Using my sponge. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see what I'm doing. Using my sponge here, just to smooth out some of those edges there. And I always run it around some of the parts. I want that paint to bite into it. Because I'm going to use, on this build, some, Vallejo primer. And man, I don't like Vallejo primer. But you know what? I was watching Cohen, and he had a point there, There could have been 1,000 different variables why this stuff messed up on us. Like, I know I had a problem with it. I know a few other people have had problems with it. But you know what? I'll give it a shot again. See how it works. Alright, here we go. There we go. Just want to make sure I got the right one. There ain't nothing worse than getting the wrong one in there. Well, that would help if I got these pins out of there. Stupid me. These things are so incredibly tiny. Let's see. I can't get in there with a knife without bending it, so I'm going to try to nip it as close as I can without breaking it. Okay. Alright, let's see. It says it sits in here like so. So let's spin this bad boy around and see if we can't mess something up. Big hands of mine. Now I got to take a little bit more off of that. And I'll use that because it's got a very sharp point versus my my hobby knife. Alright, I'm going to try to, there we go, got that. Don't drop it, knucklehead. Alright, let's get that in here. That fits real nice. There we go. See? Get just a little bit of the glue in there. Let that sit for a second. Don't monkey with it. And we'll clean this one up a little bit. Be back on. Alright, a quick update. I'm just adding the seat belts. I don't know if you can see that. So before I put all this together, I'm going to prime it. Because it'll be a lot harder to get at this, at these seatbelts in there. So I might have done this wrong. I've never worked with photo etch before. I'm just trying to get it in there. I probably should have shot this first and then added it on there. Live and you learn. It's on there. So again, my first attempt at it, and I'm gonna tell you what, I don't like it. It's too fiddly, man. It's just too fiddly for me. You cut it, piece goes flying. I've already lost one piece, and all right, I'm gonna leave that alone, and I'll start working on this. So I'm going to have to, let me cut all these off the tree here, sand them down, dry fit them, just to see how everything fits. I still, in the back of my head here, I'm thinking, where the hell am I going to find a pilot for this thing? But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Alright, let's see how this thing lines up. Still needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Alright, doesn't look like it's gonna need a lot. There's a seam there though. So I think once I work it a little bit of surfacer in there should do it. Mr. Putty I have. Mr. Dissolve Putty. So a little bit of Mr. Dissolve Putty in there should do it. So she's going there. We're getting there, guys. You know, I love building models, but you know, it gets aggravating. I've never worked with photo etch, and the results that a person gets on them are phenomenal. They're beautiful, bar none. It's just, you know, well, I think I paid $17 for this kit, which wasn't too bad, and I'm glad I didn't drop a lot of coin on that. So I'm going to sit this down for the night because I know I'm going to tear something up. All I want to do right now though, here, let me lower that, is do a little housekeeping, so to speak. Like right here where I cut it off the screw there. And then on this end, I might just make a figure. I don't know. I haven't done one of those since I was a kid. I was 14 the last time I made one. I got some Aves epoxy sculpt here and some wire. Let's see if I'll fiddle around with it tomorrow and see if I can come up with one. I don't know if I can, but hey, never say never, right? So all I'm doing right now is just where I cut it off the sprue. I just want to smooth that down some. You know, something like I was watching Cohen earlier today. He's working on his Saber. I believe it was his Saber he was working on. He's talking about photo etch. Or it might have been his 109, I think. I think it's a 109. And how he doesn't like to take a file to his photo etch because it's just too harsh. Well, I'm like that with styrene if I can avoid it. I mean, I use it. Don't get me wrong. I'll use every tool at my disposal. But if I can avoid a file, I will. Because they're just too harsh on the styrene. Sometimes you have to, though. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to do it. I think this is going to be really nice, man. My old faithful right here. I'll tell you what, this thing here has served me well, and I paid 50 cents for it. I've had it for 2 months, and I'm using the crap out of it. Look at that. Here in the United States, there's a place called Walgreens in Chicago. I don't know if you guys got one. Walmart, there's a place called Sally's. It's like a beauty supply store, and that's where my daughter's a beautician. So it's like, hey, when I need these things, call her up, and I get them by the gross, man. Be careful now. That's gonna look out. That's gonna look really nice. See that? I'll do a little bit more sanding on that and get that little step out of there. Right in here. Once I glue it in, all I want to do right now is just check everything, and so far so good. Believe it or not, this is the easy part. It's when you're getting ready to put those wings on. Man, those things are a nightmare. But it should be all right. There's some nice little photo etch for this motor also. I might just add some more to it, you know. See if I can put some spark plugs in it or something. We'll see. I got a little time to do it. Alright, well, before I do anything here, I'm going to have to paint the inside of it. There's some lines in there here. Like here. You got to paint. This bad boy sits in there, and of course that sits in there. And then you put this guy in here. This I'm going to paint tomorrow. Let's see about this. 25 millimeter. What do you mean by that? Be careful. Okay. Cut. Oh, so they give you this little sheet here where you can cut it out. Sit it in here. When you add this to this, it should be 25 millimeters. Oop, I'm sorry. When you add this piece, you made them, this piece and this piece. Here it's telling you it should be 25 millimeters from the joystick to the seat, to the back of the wall there. And you can cut it right here. You can use this as a template, you know, to lay it in there. That's pretty cool. Alright, well, that's it for tonight, guys. I'm going to let that harden so I can paint them, and then work on this seat here before I stick it in there. And I'd like to get this all painted up, you know, before I put it in there. You know, it's my first attempt at photo etch, so don't laugh at me, guys. I got these drying back there, and then I'll bend them over. And this guy here is curing up a little bit. I'm sick here, man, because I lost that little piece that was right here. I'm going to see if I can find, I'm going to go up, get down there with a flashlight and see if I can find it. But that's it for the night, man. This is Red Dragon saying, you guys have a good night, and I'll have another update in the morning, man. Ciao. I want to show you guys something real quick. Right after I signed off, if you'll excuse me for a minute here, and I focus in on it, Where'd it go? Oh. Right there. See that? That little piece right here is the piece that flew away on me. I decided to take one more look to see if I could find it, and bingo. With a flashlight I found it. Now how lucky am I?